Hey friends, happy Monday. Welcome to my live, and if you happen to be watching later, welcome to the replay. My name is Robin, and I'm with Robin's A Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Couture. Okay, just checking my audio real quick. And welcome to my little creative corner of the internet. If you happen to be watching the replay now, or if you're watching the live now, or if you're watching the replay later, please feel free to say hi in the comments and to tell me where you are watching from. I am live in 2 locations this evening, so if you hear me refer to a comment that is not in your feed, that person is probably watching from a different platform. And if at any time during this project you like what you see and you think others should see it, please feel free to share this on Facebook wherever you have permission. And if you wouldn't mind also giving a heart button, giving me a thumbs up or a heart button. If you are on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. And as always, tag your crafty friends, invite them to watch along with you. Let me go over, we have a few promos to go over, so I'll try to have them that way, scrolling hopefully throughout the project this evening. If you have any questions about some of the promos, feel free to ask those in the comments, or you can always message me and I will let you know what those are. I need to see, it would be nice if I could loop that, but I doubt that I will. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and flip the camera. I'm going to show you a few of the new products that I have gotten from the Autumn 2026 release, and then we are going to hop into the project after that. So let me go ahead and flip the camera. Okie doke. Let's see, it doesn't look like, so I'm just gonna periodically, I'll restart it. So this is the color of the month. It is called Well Traveled. It is actually an ink, but it is kind of a mustard color, kind of very familiar to, if you remember curry, or what were some of the other? Saffron. Oh, I forgot to even say, Jason says he's watching from the other side of the door. Happy Monday. Audio is great. He says he is ready for the Whatnot sale. I decided to get brave, and I'm going to do my first Whatnot sale on Saturday, the 25th at 7:30. I probably need to add the description or the link in the comments or in the description, but I do have it linked on my business page, my Facebook business page, and then you can just follow me on Whatnot. You can search for me at Robin's Egg Blue Creations, so you can go follow me on Whatnot. But again, this is an ink. It is the color of the month. It's available until it is sold out. So you can unlock the ability to purchase this month's color of the month, Well Traveled. It is an ink with a $75 order. That is when you are able to unlock the ability to purchase that. So don't forget to get that. If you remember correctly, last time I went over 2 of the En Vogue colors. One of them is butterscotch, and then the other one is the spiced citrus shimmer, which I put up already. But I did get 2 more En Vogue colors. I got Wrangled, which we're going to use tonight. It's kind of a denim blue color. And then I also got Wild Acre. So it is a form of green. It's kind of more of a traditional Christmas green. Has a slight touch of blue. But those are 2 of the new colors. And then there is, along with these 3, plus the spiced, or the shimmer spiced citrus, there's also a Cabernet ink, I think is the other one. Okay, so let's go through some transfers really quick. I'll just pull these off. So let's go over some of the A's. So I got Change Begins. Sometimes change begins with a fall. Cute little fall leaves that you could color in. Be great for some watercoloring. This one is super cute. Autumn Greetings. I love that typewriter font. Happy fall, ya all. Gobble till you wobble. Hello, pumpkin. Boo to you. You are a blessing. Let's get cozy. And happy Thanksgiving. So these are 4.5 by 6.5. They are size A's. These are available in my chalk site, and that is linked below in the description of the video. Pumpkin Season. It is a size B. Super fun. This one was the gift with purchase. It's still listed on the Chalk Couture's main website, but the date was supposed to have ended on the 16th. So it was free with a $65 order. So I don't think you can still get that, but I actually happen to have 3 now. So you might be looking for a giveaway, or it might be in a mystery bundle. Who knows? Keep your eye on the sky. This one is a G size, so it is a 6 by 18. This one is Retro Halloween. Super fun. And then this one is kind of an evergreen transfer, but it came out with the autumn release. It's called Book Reading Season. So this would be super cute on a t-shirt or a tote bag. It has some really cute bookish icons. And then I thought this one was super cute for like a reading journal. It says, "Sorry, I'm fully booked," and it is a library card. I am a sucker for a good library card. I think that's because that was one of my first jobs, was the library. So, oh, and then I also got 2 of these Scallop border slim cut things. They work perfectly on the simple oval that we're going to use tonight. They also fit, oh, that one's broken. That's my fault. They also fit perfectly on the 16-inch rustic round. But little insider tip, I also have this one at Hobby Lobby, and it's almost identical in scallops. But it is 29 inches long, whereas these are about 15 or so inches long. So just a tip for you. Okay, so let's use that one. Actually, yeah. Okay, so let's put these away. So we're going to use the scallop border slim cut. We're going to use the simple oval shape that is brand new. It comes in this kind of tan color. I did add a little bit of faux wax or some faux stain on it with my Waverly Antique Wax. And then we're also going to be using the Gather Here transfer. And I think because this is kind of the color scheme of our living room, I'm going to go with Wrangled, Dune, and Butterscotch. I will say Butterscotch is already sold out. I'm hoping that they bring it back. They may not, since it was an en vogue color, but you could use, I've listed in the cart link, Bumblebee and Vanilla, and I think Bark maybe. No, Bumblebee. I think Dune is also sold out. So I think I linked Bumblebee and Camel, so you could color match, mix those two to match Butterscotch, and then if you added a little bit of white to Camel, you could also get a Dune color. So that's what I linked, but I'm going to go ahead and use those colors. But you can also use any color scheme that you would like. This is, if you are new to Couture or new to my page, these are reusable silkscreen transfers. So because they are reusable, I need to make sure I note on the back side. You can either do a gigantic X or you can write the transfer name on the back. That way you know when it's clean and dry and ready to be put back on the carrier sheet, you know that it goes on this side, not this side. And you will also see that sometimes you get a suggested cut line. You can cut your transfer into two different pieces, backer sheet and all. But I like to keep my backer sheet intact. It's just a few less pieces that I have to keep track of. So I kind of score down the transfer. So I just place my scissors underneath, kind of like you're cutting fabric or cutting wrapping paper. And so now we have two separate pieces that we can use individually. And I'm going to get some painter's tape out. We're going to color block our oval. I think of what that was. Oops, something just fell. Luckily, I don't need that. Okay, I'm actually going to temporarily place the Gather Here on my surface, just so I can kind of gauge I'm just going to use my glass mat if I can. Okay, I'm just going to rub down this way gently. I think this is going to give me a pretty decent line. Hello, Miss Bonita. Welcome. Jason also says hello, Bonita. Welcome, welcome. I think actually, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a pencil if I have one. I figure I don't have one. Okay. Well, I'd like to get it up a little higher if I could. So I might use the bottom of my letters, especially like the H. H's. I think that'll work. Actually, I know what I'll do. Okay, we're going to put this back down. I think I've got a plan. So I'm just trying to tape off where I want to color block. I think we're just going to lay this one on top. And then we'll save that one for later. I'm just going to pop it back down on my roll. How is everyone doing this evening? Did everyone have a great weekend? Okay, that's good. So I'm going to pull it back off and I'm going to lay it upside down just to make sure. Yep, I think that'll work. I want to put as much of this sweater herringbone pattern on the bottom as I can for the cable knit. So I wanted this part to be wider. Plus we're going to have to add our slim cut in. That doesn't fit. It's weird that it doesn't. I guess it's supposed to go down lower this way. Maybe we'll. We might. Yeah. I guess it's gonna have to go lower. I should have thought of that. We might use the. I might. I think I'm gonna punt and use the longer Hobby Lobby one, because then I know it'll fit better. I think that's what we'll do. We'll save the Couture one for a different surface. We'll use the big long 29-inch one from Hobby Lobby. Matt, good night, Robin. Jason said he had a great weekend, stayed inside to avoid the heat. Amen. Benita said great weekend. Sherry and her family came Thursday and stayed until the middle of the afternoon on Sunday. I bet your heart was overflowing. That sounds like a fun time. Okay. So now I just got to figure out colors. Since this is my color scheme, butterscotch, wrangled, and dune. Dune will be my text. And I actually think it might be like I think I might put butterscotch on top with dune text. And then on the bottom, the cable knit will be wrangled. And we can either leave the bottom this brown color or the base color can be dune. What do y'all think? So we'll kind of, well, at least let's get started on painting the top. And then Give me enough again. I actually think I boo-booed, and I should probably bring my tape down. Oh yeah, I need to bring my tape down. You nut. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna grab that piece of tape again. Change of plans. Backing up. Rewind. And we'll take this one off. Okay. So we're going to get out our butterscotch, which here's a comparison for you. This is the color of the month, Well Traveled. It's an ink. This is the butterscotch paste. So there is a slight difference in color. This one is a little more yellow toned. This one is a little more brown. We're going to use butterscotch. Brand new color. Okay. So we're going to get out a little bit of distilled water, and I'm just going to spray a little bit in my lid. I'm going to get my paintbrush wet. And I think I'm going to use the paste that's on the foil first. And we're going to paint this color up top. Throw that out. Don't be afraid to paint with your paste. But feel free to also use chalk paint or craft acrylic paint. Either one works. I'm just adding a little bit of water so that my paste glides a little bit more smooth. I will probably have to use 2 coats. Whoops. I try to use long strokes to avoid brush marks. Okay, let's get that dry. My apologies for was it Wednesday? I had every intention of coming live, but I literally crashed on the couch right after dinner. I almost had a fender bender on Wednesday afternoon on my way home. Some ding-a-ling decided to blatantly run a red light because mine was green and I was almost all the way through the intersection, and he literally just came past me right in front of me. I almost T-boned him. I was literally like inches. And I think all that adrenaline caught up with me, and I literally just, yeah. I guess red lights are just suggestions these days. Okay, let's get another coat. I'm gonna spray a little bit more water. Oops, dummy. Dip it in the water first. Nope, too much water. Try to get a little bit more water in my brush. Maybe this says people drive like they're the only ones on the roads these days. Stop signs and lights are just suggestions. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, his light had been red for a while because mine had been green for a while. And it wasn't a normal city intersection. It was the intersection, if you know where I live, at Crawford and Santa Fe. So it was a kind of a longer intersection, and I was through both sides of both lanes of the um, westbound traffic, and I was past the first lane of the eastbound traffic going through the intersection, and I was almost into that last lane, and here it comes through that red light. Whew. Just literally out of nowhere. And then as I was slamming on my brakes to miss him, I looked the way he was going, and his light was, thinking, oh crud, was my light not green? But his light was red, and he literally did not slam or put on his brakes until he was through the intersection. He must not have seen me coming, but it shouldn't have mattered because my light was green, like blatantly green, glaringly green. I know if I had $5 for every light that somebody in Salina ran, I wouldn't have to go to work anymore. Okay, let's get that dry. It doesn't look very pretty. It didn't. It didn't paint very well. I should have just used acrylic paint. But usually it paints really well. I would have been mad if somebody dinged up Ruby. Well, I haven't even had her December, January, February, March, April, May. I've only had her 9 months. I haven't even had her a year. South 9th and Magnolia, yeah. Yeah, I don't like the flashing yellow light. The only time that the flashing yellow lights are good is after quote unquote rush hour. Between 9 and like 4, they're great. But Saturdays, they should be turned off. Between 4 and 5, they should be turned off. And they do work well east and westbound on Magnolia because the intersections line up with each other. North and southbound, you've got that darned median, and then you also, not only do you have the median, so that offsets the lanes, it also doesn't help that all those bushes are there. Those bushes are a horrible blind spot. Not to mention the fact that the lanes don't line up, and so that makes it harder to see oncoming traffic. And then you add those dang bushes and trees, and it just doesn't work. North and southbound. East and westbound, it works because there's no median and the intersections line up well. So you can, there's a lot more vision. But yeah, I think they need to be turned off before 9 and after, or between 4 and 5, or basically between 4 and 6, and they should be turned off on Saturdays because don't get me on my soapbox. Actually, it looks a lot better after it dried. It's still a little streaky, but I'm okay with that. I think I'm gonna pull that. Now I need to determine, so we're going to put gather here in Dune, and then we're going to use the new Wrangled on the bottom for the cable knit. My question is, should I paint the base in Dune and add the Wrangled in the cable knit, or should I leave the brown under the cable knit? I kind of think I want to put Dune under the cable knit, but I don't know. Actually, I know that the brown and the Wrangled might be darker colors, but you also won't see much of the brown. So I think to avoid having to paint, I think we'll just leave this brown. What do y'all think? You think it needs the light color? True. I'll go with you. I'll trust you on this one, but I think I'm going to get paint, acrylic paint. So I'm going to take my Dune over to my acrylic paint. Okay, so I've pulled out two colors. I have Oyster Beige from Deco Art, which isn't terrible. I also pulled out Buttered Pecan. I think we're going to go with Oyster Beige. It's a little lighter, but I think it'll be okay. I'm just stingy with my paste, even though they end up drying up most of the time. Plus, I have so much acrylic paint, I need to just get rid of it. I'm really tempted just to buy a bunch of condiment bottles and just start dumping all of my little bottles of acrylic paint and just mixing it all together, just so I have one red, one pink, and then I can lighten or darken with black or white for different shades. So I'm just fuzzing this paint or tape a little bit because I'm going to be putting it on top of my butterscotch. And then I'm not going to press it down very hard. Hopefully. Actually, hold that thought. So actually, I don't even. We'll just do it anyway. I could probably leave a little gap since I'm adding that border, but I'll just do it correctly. We'll just do it this way. It doesn't really matter. Benita says Oyster Beige will be super fine. Remember, yeah, it'll be mostly covered by the blue just to make it pop. It's a little more, it's a little yet less, probably has some pinkish undertones to it, but we're going to go with it anyway. But yeah, I agree with Benita. When in doubt, check with Benita. She's got pretty good creative taste. I do like to go away from the edges. If you pull this way to the edges, that's when you're going to get paint on the sides. Not that that's a big deal. Some people like to paint the sides, but on these laser cut shapes, it already has that dark color. Anita says I'm hilarious. Just being truthful. So if you go, it's kind of tricky up here though. If you try to go away from this side, I gotta watch where my fingers are. Otherwise I'm gonna get paint where it's not supposed to go. Then you can keep from getting goop all over the sides. Okay. I'm gonna end up getting Oyster Beige where I'm not supposed to. And then, I don't know if you've seen in the graphics, the Mickey and Friends Autumn Collection launched last Tuesday. So there are some new autumn themed Mickey Mouse and Friends transfers. They're not all autumn related, but they are included in the autumn launch. There is a collector's edition bundle, and there is one of the transfers that is only included in the collector's edition bundle. I haven't decided if I'm going to get those yet. Since I can't sell finished goods with them, I have to, yeah, I just have to weigh my pros and cons. But if you are a Disney fan and want to create your own merch, they would be great transfers to have. It's legit licensed DIY material. That you can use to make your own licensed merchandise. No bootlegging here. I need to get some in a color tray. I'm going to spray it down just a skosh, just to make it go a little smoother. I point out I'm going to have my first Whatnot sale on Saturday. So I hope to have a little bit of finished product, or a little bit of finished goods, maybe a little bit of crafty de-stash, and it's not necessarily all Couture crafty de-stash. So maybe some retired transfers and surfaces, maybe some mystery bundles. Maybe a few giveaways, so be checking that out. That looks pretty good. Dry that one. What is Whatnot? I'm surprised you, with all of the primitive crafters that you follow. So Whatnot, how do I even explain it? It's a new selling platform. It's mostly auction based. So like if I wanted to sell Wild Acre with a transfer, I would have it listed and I would have it at a starting bid, and it would go for, it can go anywhere from 10 seconds to 30 seconds, and people just swipe right, kind of like that dating app, to bid on stuff. Like Jason said, it's rapid fire eBay. It's like in the moment eBay. So I show you a product or an item, whether it be a finished good or a transfer bundle or a mystery bundle or a tub of paste. I have it listed for a starting bid, and then I set the timer and the bidding goes live, and you bid for it, and every time you bid, the bid increases. It also adds a few more seconds to the timer. But yeah, it's pretty much rapid fire eBay. And then you pay, the seller would pay or the buyer pays the sale price and the shipping. It is a lot of fun. You should just go download the app. Well, wait to download it, and because I should have a $15 credit, hopefully, that I can share with people to where you can apply that $15 credit to your first purchase. And once I add a few items to sell, I think I'll get that $15 credit. But you could go in and poke in it right now. I mean, you can buy. Jason and I have watched Lego minifigures being auctioned off. Oh my gosh, those things were going for hundreds of dollars. Lego little minifigures and Lego sets. It's crazy. There's also, you can also have buy it now things. So if I had like sample kits, I could have those listed to buy it now, and you can just add it to your wallet anytime without having to auction it. You can also pre-bid on stuff, like if there was quite a few things that you wanted from somebody's sale, you could pre-bid on things. So it's a lot of fun. You can get in a lot of trouble too. I think my Whatnot, one of my Whatnot orders is actually out in the mailbox. I think the paint got really thick. I think I'm going to sand lightly. I'm going to take this sander off, but a lot of people sell like new and used clothes. Some people sell beaded things. You name it. You can books, all sorts of things. Whatever you want to find, you can find it on Whatnot. I'm going to get some really fine grit sandpaper out. This is 220. And 320. I'll get the two. I think I'll get the 320 out. And I'm going to cut it. Actually, I don't think that's going to fit on my thingy. Nope. So, doesn't fit on my thingy. Why would I have gotten one that doesn't? I don't think I have a block. So I'm just going to wrap it around my try to hold it. I don't want to totally sand all this off, but my oyster base got a little rough. So I just want to use a fine grit sandpaper. Oh, that is so smooth. And if I get the edges, that's actually fine. It's like butter. And I had a pretty big ridge going down the center, so I got that off at least. I'm going to put that over there. Get my tack mat out. Maybe if I can find it, it's right there. I just buried it. Okay, get my tacky cloth out. Woo, that's super smooth. Okay, put that away. Don't say I didn't warn you, though, about Whatnot. It can get dangerous. But a lot of buyers have like $2 starts. So I've gotten a few things from one of my friends from back home. she shouldn't have been selling them at $2, but she did. And since I was the only bidder, I got some of her beaded keychains and stuff for $2. But you can tip if you don't feel like that's enough. But yeah, there's lots of fun stuff. So I'm just waxing now. So this is going to be a protective layer between my painted surface and my transfer. So I'm just buffing it out now with the other side of my wax applicator. Whew, do the other arm so I can give it a workout. Okay. This would be cute. And I have to figure out what color to do the scallop. Maybe we'll just stain that. I don't know. Figure that out. You could do half beads across if you didn't want to do the scallop. Which, yeah, I'm going to have to figure out what color to do that. That's super cute. Okay. Jason says, dang, that's pretty. Super shiny. Okay, so let's add the fun stuff. Thanks. So we'll do gather here first. Oops, that was almost a catastrophe. These are adhesive backed. So I'm just going to put them on my terry cloth fuzz towel. We call that fuzzing the transfer. I'm just using the terry cloth part of the towel to add just a little bit of lint to the back side of the transfer, just to knock back a little bit of that adhesive. It's super helpful when you have a painted surface. Okay. I'm going to kind of use my color block line as a guide. I think that'll work. And I'm just going to burnish where my letters are. So let's pull out our Dune transfer first. Let's find some squeegees. I had to, these are all some of my clean ones. I was running out. Oops. Get that filled back up. I think we'll use one of the small ones. I do have everything, most of the products that I've used tonight linked in the description of the video. It's in the cart link. We are out of butterscotch right now, which isn't on Vogue color, but I am hoping that they restock it. But you could mix bumblebee and camel together to create a butterscotch. We are also out of Dune, but you could mix white and camel together, I bet, to get a similar color. You could also use vanilla, which is just a little bit lighter than the Dune, but it's not quite white. So I'm just going to grab some Dune paste with my squeegee, and I'm just going to drag and scrape basically that paste across the silkscreen area, making sure to cover up all of the parts of my letters. I can put the excess back in the jar, and then I need to even out my squeegee lines. Otherwise those will dry in the transfer or in the design. And then we're going to gently pull back the transfer, and this is where the magic happens. Ta-da! That's a pretty dang good match. The oyster base is slightly more pink-ish than the Dune, but it's a pretty decent match. Once I get the cable knit for sweater pattern on there, you won't probably be able to tell. So I'm just popping that back on the backer sheet. When I'm all finished with my project tonight, I will take all of this over to my utility sink, run it under some water with a board eraser, and it will come perfectly clean. Just going to pop all that. And let's dry that real quick. Jason, that's a pretty good way to describe Whatnot. Rapid fire eBay. Pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay. So now let's pull out our fuzz towel and the pattern. And for C sizes and bigger, which this is a C size, it's 12 by 18, I like to pull the backer sheet away from the transfer. If you try to do the transfer away from the backer sheet, you're probably going to end up with it stuck together. Ask me how I know. And I'm actually not going to fuzz this a whole lot. I'm more worried about right above and right below, where the most of the teal portion is. There isn't a lot of teal down here, so I want to keep that sticky so that my paste won't bleed under that part. So I think I'm just going to stick this up against there for now until I can. I'm going to pull my, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. I'm going to pop my, hopefully I don't regret this. Actually, that's going to be long enough. Close enough. I'm just going to pop some scrap backer sheets down because I do not want the top part of this transfer to pull my paint off. Okay, so let's get our wrangled out. And we're just going to pull it off of the foil for right now. Throw that out. Okay, so now we'll seal that back. We're just going to dip our squeegee into the wrangled pretty blue color. We're going to do the same thing. I'm try to use big swipes across. I want to do this fairly quickly because I don't want this to dry in my silk screen. because if it dries in the silk screen and then I go to pull it back up, it will pull up a lot of that paste with it. Okay. Just keep pasting, just keep pasting. Try to even out what I can. Hopefully, I'm going to try to pull it up fairly slowly. Wow. Okay. I need to get my backer sheet. And try not to make a mess while I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to my sink real quick. I'm going to spray it down. I'll be right back. So I just sprayed both of those transfers down just to keep them slightly wet until I can really clean them when I'm done. Sometimes if you let the paste completely dry in those silk screens, it just makes it, they'll come clean, and they might stain a little, but they'll come clean. But keeping them slightly damp will make them easier to clean. And I'll kind of try to tidy up as I go. Otherwise, everything, including my project, ends up being that color. Well, my border will cover all that. There's a few little blips right there, and then a little bit of wrangled got into my butterscotch, but and then I need to figure out, I'm wondering if I should just put some antiquing wax on the scallop border. I think we'll try that. If it doesn't work, we can always flip it over and do a different color. And if you use any kind of adhesive vinyl, like for your Cricut or Cameo machines, if I have larger pieces, I save the backer sheets of those because they make perfect backer sheets to help mask, because all this basically is just sticker release paper on one side. Jason says you got your butterscotch in my wrangled. That was kind of the first thing I thought of when I said it. Between butterscotch and buttered pecan, I got a sweet tooth. Okay, I think that's good. I'm trying to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to try it because I'm symmetrical. I'm going to try to hold that and flip that and draw that, flip it, bop it, pull it, and then I'm going to cut that. So this is 1 inch by 29 3/4, and it was $5.40. Here is the I'm going to get it to I don't know if I can get it to I can't get it to it's 265-8573. Jason says, you know what that means? Biscoff blizzards. So if you love Biscoff cookies or Biscoff cookie butter, Dairy Queen has Biscoff blizzards right now. It's just basically their ice cream, and that works pretty good. Biscoff cookies and their vanilla ice cream. So I'm just, I don't know if those are going to work. I need to find since this is kind of rounded, I'm not for sure this is going to work, but try. We'll make it work as best as we can. Okay. Needs a wee little bit of sanding. It's not terrible. Okay. You can use a piece of sandpaper, yeah, to make it rounded. Yeah, because it cut kind of wonky, so I'm going to have to sand it anyway. And part of the perks of have been getting my nails done is I have a metric ton. I can't get them out, but I probably have 30 of these. These are the nail files that my nail tech would use, and she would just give them to me when she was done, because she would just throw them away. So they're gently used on my own nails. So I would just bring them home. Oh, dummy, that's the wrong end. I was doing the scrap. Well, that one's ready for whatever I can. Dummy. I was just practicing my sanding skills. shabby. It's not perfect, but it only sticks out a little bit. Okay, I think let's wax her. So let me get my gloves on. Sorry, my lives are always so dang long. I love hanging out with y'all, but I wish I could figure out a way to, for your sakes, to make them shorter. Ooh, about dumped all that. So I'm just going to use a wet wipe and some Waverly antiquing wax. It is not chalk paste. I just put my wax into one of my old paste containers because it makes it easier to get a paintbrush or a wipe in there. So I'm not having to guess halfway down the bottle where my wax is. So I just dump it in there. I do that with my white chalk paint as well. It just makes it easier to get a brush or a wipe down there. And it's easier to gauge how much I have. Benita, have you made your patterned chicken yet? And don't forget, if you're a club member and you want more chicken cutouts, they are available in the Club Couture tab when you log in under your Club Couture account. That'll work. And then I reuse these until they get holes in them. I'm cheap. Just means I can buy more craft supplies, not more gloves. You have not? You was actually in the basement staring at it this evening. That's funny. There's also flat rate shipping now through the 23rd. I don't remember. I have to look when the graphic comes up. And if you are wanting to save a little more, make sure you join the Perks program so you can shop at 30% off retail. Yes, there's $8.99 flat rate shipping the 16th through the 23rd for Perks members and designers. So it's another reason why you should join the Perks program. Consider it your crafty Costco membership. Basically, you pay in $20 a month to be a Perks member. However, you automatically get that $20 Perks pricing or Perks payout as a $20 product credit that you can use for anything on my chalk site. And you can shop at 30% off retail pricing, and you get access to special promotions and exclusives, just like the flat rate shipping that is available currently for Perks members and designers. So yeah, it's a great way to save some pennies, especially with the upcoming holidays coming. You can also use your product credit You could kind of sort of apply it to your Club Couture membership if you want to subscribe as a Club Couture member. And I believe you also get that at 30% off-ish. You get it at a reduced rate. So you can apply your, you can kind of sort of think of it as applying your $20 monthly product credit to your Club Couture subscription. It doesn't quite work that way, but if you do the crafty math in your mind, it does work that way. It kind of sort of washes itself out. Ooh, I kind of like that. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this glue gun on. I'm going to get my Harbor Freight wood glue out. While my glue gun is heating up, I will show you my patterned chicken. And let me see if I can find the transfer. But you can see the transfer on the graphic. It gives you the ability in that, so you can see it's the head, the face is two-sided. So you have the ability to do both sides. So I used the checkerboard pattern in Take Note, which was a former color of the month on this side. And I used Woodstock, which is also similar to Bumblebee on the other side with kind of the feathered pattern. And I used camel for the head on this one, and I used black. So that is the Club Couture for the month, this month. Super cute, super fun. I might be using that glue. I can't. Oops. I may have glued that part on. There. There. Got the booger off. When in doubt, show it who's boss. Okay, I think I may have to stand up for this one. And sorry if my head gets in the way. Okay, I'm gonna start adding. Whew, and I may not need my craft glue, but we're just adding some wood glue. I love these scallops, they're so cute. I'm just going to add a few little dollops just to see if I can, so it will temporarily hold while the rest of it is drying. I'm going to use the pointed, or one of the ends of my detail tool. I think I'm going to use the squeegee end on the top, so that'll get all of that excess glue. Be careful when you're removing your glue that it doesn't reactivate your paste. Just going to hold it down for a little bit. I think I might get some plants. She's popping up. At least on the ends. Ah. Need some of that stick fast. Well, that really made the glue scoogey out. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna see that. Ooh, these are almost too tight for me to. Super cute. Just wish I could figure out how to. I'll probably have to add a book or something into the middle. Just not wanting to stay down. Okay, now to decide if I want to make it a hanger, or if I want it to be like in an easel. Close up my glue. That looks really cute. Do I want to add a messy bow? Do I want to add a ribbon bow? Just trying to get it to hold down. Just hold it for a little bit. Talk amongst yourselves. It would be cute with just like a wire hanger and some beads. A few little beads. I'm just not very good at wire hangers. Don't forget, if you haven't checked out any of the Autumn 2026 collection, that's what this gather here transfers from. It's where the scallop trim is from. I think a messy bow. Just see what kind of fabric I have. Maybe I won't do it. Let's Jason, remind me. I have Grow Group tomorrow, but just to get myself back into the habit of going live, we can meet back here tomorrow at around 8:15, 8:30, and we will make the bow for this. That way I can kind of clamp it and have a book on top of it while it's still drying. But then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll make a bow for it. How's that sound? Does that sound like a good plan? I think that sounds like a good plan. So I'm going to hop off. I'll hop off. If you're not on Whatnot, go poke around on Whatnot and see what it's like. It's a lot of fun. Mark your calendars for Saturday, July 25th at 7:30 Central Time. That will be my first Whatnot sale. I don't know if it's going to be very big, but kind of poke around there, see what you think. Tell me what you would like to see. If you want to see retired transfers and surfaces, do you want to see some of my finished products or finished goods? Do you want some crafty de-stash? Do you want some mystery bundles? I might have a few blind date with the book bundles. I might have a few beaded plant stakes. Just a little bit of hodgepodge. And then we'll meet back here tomorrow at about 8:15 or 8:30, and we will make a bow for our Gather Here sign. Super cute. I can't wait to paint this. So I'm going to hop off, and I hope to see you all tomorrow evening when we make the bow. So hope you have a great evening. I hope you have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.